Alright fellas, so the other day, the ignition control module and the ignition coil for the intake side, they went all Hiroshima on me. They melted. They got like crazy hot. Part of the reason was I had to rework the grounds again, because they were I've said this before, but on I don't know if it's the same on every truck, but on this truck, the grounds tend to have that corrosion, that buildup. They tend to have that quite a bit. It'll start causing you problems. But that wasn't the main thing. That was just a small part of it. I was reading up on the subject, just because I was racking my brain. What else could have caused it? And it turns out if your ignition coils are bad, if they're fried or just bad, that will also cause excessive amounts of heat. But it just mucks with the system and just causes excessive heat to the coils and the ignition control modules. So I already replaced those, and as well as the knee spark plug wires, because it turned out the ones that I had on there, they were fried. They were fried. I just didn't realize it. But I ended up replacing. This is the old one, the old cap and rotor, because they weren't in the greatest condition either. They were pretty banged up. So I installed new ones. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to remove all this and show you guys how to install it, as well as the distributor itself. So I've got to pull the distributor out to be able to install the rotor itself. And then there's two bolts that hold the cap in place. One's at the bottom, one's at the top, and it's the same for the distributor itself. There is a bolt, hopefully you can see. There's so much glare, so the shadows are pretty damn dark. I'll try to point at it. But there is a bolt right where I'm pointing and tapping at. There's a bolt there, and then at the bottom side as well. This is like a crazy easy job, but since I installed the power steering brackets and belts, there's less room to maneuver, so it's a bit of a tight fit. But as always, when you're doing this stuff like this, take photos so you know what goes where and what position it's at. I also want to show you one thing that I just never thought to do. As most of you guys know, this is the 3838 Weber carburetor. It's the more progressive version of the, what is it? Forgive me if I get the numbers wrong. The 3236 or something like that. That one's more like has a lot like economically built for fuel and stuff like that. This one's a bit more of a gas guzzler. But the thing with the distributor, when you install the Weber carb, since it's pumping out more fuel, it always will be, regardless of what, no matter how low you set your fuel pressure, this will always pump out more fuel than the 3632 one will, or 3236, whatever it's called. So you have to adjust the timing on your you have to adjust the timing on the distributor. You have to advance it just a little bit, not much, just enough to compensate for that. If you don't, you'll have a lot of you'll have a lot of unburnt fuel, and you'll end up having black smoke on your tailpipe, and you'll be able to smell it. But anyway, I'll show you all that as how to do that once I get all this situated. So yeah, at least for now, I'll try to hold the phone. Getting the this portion is not too difficult. And anytime you're doing this, you want to save these bolts, because if you buy a new rotors, caps, or even a new distributor, I'm not sure if they come with new ones. They might, I just don't remember. It's been a while since I replaced the one that I have on here now for the one that was on here before. Man, if you guys had seen the original one that was on here when I first got this truck, man, that sucker was just falling apart. I honestly don't know how the truck was running at all. That distributor was in pretty rough shape. And we'll disconnect these just so that we have more room to work with. We can pull the cap completely out of the way. Just so we have room to work with. Okay. Again, in order to remove the rotor, if you see there's the spot there for a screw, we have to pull out the distributor in order to do that. So I'll do that real quick. And as with the other ones, you want to save these because we will need them. But as always, you want, like I said, you want to take photos and make note of what position everything is at, so you can put it exactly the same way that you put it in. I promise this is crazy easy. I mean, the first time I did it, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I was nervous, didn't really know. But I've done this several times already, so it's actually quite easy. Alright, so if you notice, we're going to use these as our markings. Think of it as a clock. This is a 12 o'clock, and this is maybe between 11 and 10-ish. And truthfully, the distributor, it'll have no choice but to go in the exact same way. You actually can't really mess it up. It really will only go the one way. But you want to also, again, make note of where everything is and use everything as a guide. That way you put everything back the exact same way, and we can pull the distributor out. It just slides out. It's like so. But if you note at the bottom, hopefully this shows up in the, if I can focus, there is like a, I don't know what you would call it, a notch, or what it's called. It's like a half moon on this end, at the bottom end. Hopefully this thing would focus. There you go. It's almost there. You see that half moon? That mates with the, at the bottom side, or at the opposite end, with the oil pump. Let me get out of here and turn the light on my phone. That way you guys can hopefully can see it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Hopefully you can see that the shaft at the end of that shaft, which is closest to us. At the end, it has the half moon itself also. Hopefully I can keep that in frame. But here's this screw. And this is what holds the rotor in place. Whoops. Okay. My best to hold the phone and this at the same time, so we can slide. Make sure it's seated all the way. Looks good. Okay, and when you're advancing and retarding the distributor for your for when you have when you install the 3838 Weber, I think you want your RPMs once your engine warms up anywhere between 12 and 1500 RPMs is a good number to compensate for the extra fuel. That way you don't have any unburnt fuels coming out of your exhaust. But it might be slightly different for your particular vehicle. And this is how you advance it. Hopefully you can see the bolt hole down there. If you're this is just my best guess, but probably at the center, that's where you would typically have it if you had the stock TBI, the throttle body. I think I went maybe to there. Not much. I didn't advance it too much, but just enough to about there. And that's, you'll be good. I was good there. The engine was throttling pretty good, and there was no unburnt fuel or anything. Unfortunately, trying to get these bolts on, it's a little difficult because you can't really see, especially the bottom one. You can't really see what you're doing because, again, all these components are here now on this truck that didn't used to be there. So, and this one's, the top one's a bit of a tight fit, so I have to be reaching from both ends. So I won't record me bolting those down, but I'll come back once I got that and I'll record the rest of the process. But again, hopefully the advancing with the distributor for when you have the 38 Weber, it makes sense. Again, you don't have to advance it too much. You need just enough to where your engine is idling a little bit higher than normal. Again, if you have a RPM gauge, it makes it so much easier to fine-tune that and get the right advance it to the right point. But I'll be right back. Also, you don't want to forget to connect. Hopefully I can get this in frame without hands being in the way. It's kind of tight fit. See this connection here? Don't forget to reconnect that wire onto your distributor. Okay. Now it's just a matter of popping the distributor cap back on. She should just slide on. Okay, it's on there nice and firm. And let's get these suckers on. Remember, bottom one's the exhaust. They should be labeled. Make sure it's seated. Intake side. So if we did our job properly, she should start right up. Let's keep our fingers crossed. RPMs will rise a little bit more as she starts warming up and getting up to temperature. Not too bad. There she goes at 150. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how to, you know, mess with a distributor and replace the hell. I mean, you can literally replace the entire distributor if you have to. It's the same process. Or if you just have to do the rotor or the cap or both, and you know how to insert it. It's, trust me, it's crazy easy if you've never done it. I mean, like I said before, I'd never done it before. The first time I did it, I was, you know, a little nervous. But again, as long as you take photos of what you're doing and make sure use them as reference, that way you put everything back exactly the way you pulled it out. You'll be good.